Good morning, Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Thank you so much for joining us. Expats living in the Philippines that are disabled, or disabled expats considering moving to the Philippines. You know what? I think we really should talk about that. So let's talk about it.
Why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance, no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
Okay, a couple of disclaimers I should make here right off the get go. Number one, because this is a touchy subject sometimes. Number one, let me move this just a little closer. There we go. I am not on disability. I've never filed for disability. I don't have disability insurance claims. I'm not receiving any money for disability. Number two, I am disabled. Okay. It may be a shock to a couple of you. It may not, but you may need to recognize just a little bit. I'll tell you just a minute briefly without going into too much detail about my disability. I am a type 1 diabetic since birth. Now, a couple of times in my lifetime, my pancreas decided to exercise itself and work a little bit. But for virtually all of my life, I have been insulin dependent. And I have been insulin dependent for the last 30 years completely. No skipping it, no nothing. With that being said, I have, unfortunately, the byproduct of diabetes. Now, some people have been a little shocked. They'll run into us at SM, or they'll see us at the airport, and I may be using my cane, or I may be in a wheelchair. Let me explain. My disability is based on peripheral vascular disease, which is a byproduct of diabetes. From the mid calf down in both of my legs, I have no feeling at all. That's why I can't drive anymore. I can't feel the difference between, I can't even feel the gas pedal or the brake. It wasn't that way when we first moved here. All right. But as diabetes slowly progresses, it gets that way. I can do 100 yards. I can walk 100 yards unassisted, not a problem. Anything over 100 yards, I prefer to have my cane for two reasons. Since I have no feeling, it's a balance issue, number one. And then number two, then it becomes a vascular issue with blood flow, and it's very, very painful. So on occasion, yeah, you may see me in a wheelchair. Not often, but it happens. Okay? Now, I'm not going to go into all the ifs, ands, or buts about who deserves disability, who doesn't deserve disability, what is a disability. You know, these are all things for experts that I don't have the answer to. With that being said, would I qualify for disability? Without a doubt. Without a doubt, I would qualify for disability. I know this because of my profession. I know this because of doctors that I've had in the past and everything else. It doesn't work for me. Financially, it won't work. I'm on full Social Security, and that's just the simple fact. Now, what about you? What is it about you? You know, disabilities are not just physical, first off. There are mental disabilities and there are physical disabilities. There are disabilities caused by physical injury, and then there are disabilities caused by disease or by pathology or by any number of different things but in the end, they're all disabilities. Well, if you're disabled, or if you're slightly disabled, or if you're significantly disabled, let's throw away the money piece. Let's not even talk about that right now. What I want to talk about is can you come to the Philippines and live your life as a disabled person? And my very short answer to that is yes. Millions of Filipinos do it every day. And they do it. They don't have a choice, so they do it. Now, you have a choice. You have a choice, and there's no doubt about it. So if I were in that situation, all right, how would I evaluate the direction that I'm going? And again, this is not scientific. This is not peer reviewed. This is my experience and, quite frankly, others. So what is it that we would do? Well, a couple of different things. First off, I would evaluate my disability, then get a full checkup to make sure you get a professional medical advice on the extent of your current health and its possible future progression. For instance, with diabetes, that is a disease process. It's not like my leg is gone, or I'm missing an arm, or I have another problem. All right, I don't want to list them all. But you need to be fully aware of what your disability is, what its future impact can be, and what your current health is. How has it already impacted that? The second thing I would do is I would list the limitations that my disability has impacted me with. What can I do? What do I need help doing? Does my disability impact my ability to function on my own? I can get dressed on my own. I shower. I don't have to have a chair in the shower to sit in. I shave. I get dressed. I button my own shirts. I put on my own shoes. I don't have any or need any assistance with any of that. I might be a little bit slower than some people, but it gets the job done. I can go to the grocery store. I can go to the market. I can go out to dinner. I can go out with friends. My closer friends, they know about this. And it's not unusual if I show up using my cane, depending on what we've got planned. The next thing I do is I would need a list to, what do I need to function with respect to my health care and maintenance, which goes back to the first thing. Many people with disabilities, they're a progressive situation. Will I need a specialist? Will I need specialist physicians and services? Will I follow up and routine follow-ups to monitor my disability and the impact on my overall health? These things are all important as far as I'm concerned. There are things that I would have done, all right, or did do actually. So, you need to evaluate those things. The Philippines, well, you know what? Let's just get a couple of things straight to begin with. First off, the Philippines is not a handicapable, handicap friendly environment overall. In other words, sidewalks can be difficult. Paved roads can be difficult. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm fine, in a normal environment at the mall where the floors are even. All right. I'm not having balance problems. I'm not exerting my thigh muscles. My thigh muscles are what actually happened. I didn't just wake up one day and not have feeling in my legs. It slowly happened over a matter of decades. And so my body adjusted. Instead of my lower legs balancing me, my thighs now balance me. They don't do as good a job as my lower legs, obviously, but they work. And my body progressively got used to it. What about you? All right. It depends on where you're going to live. You're going to have, if you have certain disabilities, the provinces may not be a great selection. It is a little bit more difficult there. On the other hand, only you can evaluate that. Now, if we go back, all right, does your disability require medications? Check and make sure that those medications are available here in the Philippines, and then what the cost is. Mercury Drug, Watson's, and a couple of other of the major pharmacy chains, they have tools where you can look up your medication and it'll show you whether it's available, whether they sell it. All right. You can also Google your medications to find out what generics are available for it. All right. And then in addition, I know that Mercury and Watson's will actually tell you what the cost is. So you get an idea as to what your expense is. Finally, you need to be honest with yourself. You have this picture, this image in your mind of what the Philippines is. And are you going to be able to pursue that picture? Access, mobility, medical services, they can literally vary greatly from location to location. Will you be able to stay healthy enough to enjoy the life that you envision at a location that meets your realistic needs? You have to be realistic about that. That's just the bottom line. Now, I would tell you this. I think that most people can spend time in the Philippines if they research it and they follow along with what they need to do. Good health care is available in Cebu. Take me for instance. Even with my disability, we've traveled to other countries. We've been to every island. Well, not every island. Let me rephrase that. The major islands. All right. We've been to Puerto Princesa. We've been to Coron. We've been to El Nido. We've been to Bohol. We've been to Panglao. We've been to Cebu. We've been to Manila. We lived in Manila, Makati. All right. So we've been around, not to mention Angeles City. We're here right now in our condo in Angeles City. We have a house in Mindanao. We travel back and forth. I get on airplanes. I get in multi-cabs. All right. I get in buses. Okay. It's not an impossibility. But you need to see what those resources are like. You can do it. All right. But you need to just be realistic and you need to be frank with yourself. I don't know. If you are disabled, in the comments below, what's your experience here in the Philippines? Or do you have questions about coming to the Philippines because you're disabled? What's your disability? In the comments below, let us know. Otherwise, thank you so much. Please subscribe, hit that thumbs up. We'd certainly appreciate it. Have a great, safe day.